Hello, art artists and art enthusiasts. Lovely to see you again here on our virtual meet. I am Angel, your would-be art teacher. So, how or what makes a great art teacher? Do you have an idea? Let us witness how to be one of them, especially like us, future art teachers. I have chosen here my 10 competencies that will surely benefit and let you learn how to become incredibly effective and great art teacher. Let us start! 1. An art teacher should primarily be interested in children. I believe this is the first competency that an art teacher must have. Learning to love kids with genuine, caring, and heartfelt love can be a game changer in their lives. This is one of the reasons that why future teachers or teachers teach. It's because that they want someone who can change their lives. In other words, an art teacher must show sympathy, respect, and hope, and in that way, children are comfortable to maximize their learning because they believe that their teacher are there to guide them. Second, so an art teacher should create a classroom that is conducive to art learning. So when we say conducive, it means that a classroom environment where there is no emotional frustration, free from discrimination, and 0% intimidation, which allows your students to move freely and safe from exchanging their thoughts, ideas, creative thinkings. So an art teacher must create a classroom environment, especially in arts, that is conducive where your students can nurture and develop their artistic skills. You must prepare complete art materials, teaching aids, or some things that will help them to enhance their artistic skills. So the third competency is that an art teacher should have a clear understanding about the current concepts, the philosophy and practices that is about art education. So especially in the elementary school. So this is the third competency of an art teacher that must embedded to them. So why we need to have this understanding about the concepts, about the philosophy and the practices? How does it make sense when we teach our students? So it goes something like this. For instance, in a war, a soldier cannot rush into their opponents without anything they carry on to fight against them. So they must be prepared and load themselves with the equipments and anything that can fight to their opponents so that they can succeed to them. So just like an art teacher, they must possess or have these loaded skills, since you cannot teach your students the things that you wanted them to learn. You must also learn the philosophy that will surely guide you what you want the best for your students, and of course the practices which let your students increase their learning experiences inside of your classroom. So we are going to the fourth competency, which is an art teacher should be alert and resourceful. So it is given a fact that an art teacher must be alert and also resourceful in a way that they cannot only recycle materials, but in a way that they can also manage their time, their effort, their budget, and an art teacher that is clever one that can overcome to certain difficulties. So for example, you lack materials in your classroom which you cannot find in the context of where you are teaching. So you are experimenting materials because of a certain fact that you want to provide students a learning experiences, or an art teacher take a stock of the community resources so that the problem of securing materials can be minimized. So the fifth competency is that an art teacher should evaluate children's artwork with honesty, sincerely, and intelligently. So So we all know that judgments and assessment can impact us. So through evaluation, children learn what are the things they achieve doing such artworks or inside of the classroom. So through this, they can discriminate or identify in which part they lack or in which of their artwork which they can enhance, so they able to discover themselves more. So it is important to assess your student with honestly, sincerely, and intelligently. So to evaluate without bias, you need to use such kind of instruments like the rubrics or portfolio assessments. So the sixth competency of an art teacher is that they should have the knowledge of the elements of arts and the principles of design. So it is expected for an art teacher to have this kind of knowledge, or they are knowledgeable enough about these elements of arts and the principles of design, where it can help their students by teaching them how to use it in a proper way in their artwork. So we all know that the elements of arts are fundamental because it is the starting point of every artwork. So they must identify what are the different elements of art, such as the lines, what are the importance of the arts in an artwork, what is important of the form, the value, and etc. And with the principles of design, the learners or the children can enhance their artwork, where they can able to emphasize something or they able to contrast and the like. In that way, if you the teacher have this kind of knowledge, you will be success teaching your students how to balance the artwork that can please the eyes of the viewers. So we are bound to the 7 competencies. So the 7th competency is that an art teacher should structure bulletin board displays creatively. So we all know that this bulletin board plays an important role inside of the classroom, and it is helpful for the students to motivate, eager to learn more inside of the art class. So you can paste such artworks or whose artworks are the best in the bulletin board. But we must consider that our bulletin board must be creative in a way that it sets a clear purpose. What is the purpose of this bulletin board? Why you paste this kind of artwork in the bulletin board? And also it must be pleasant and attractive to the eyes of the students, and also it must be durable so it will last long. So we are on the 8th competency, which is an art teacher should have a knowledge about stage decoration, both indoor and outdoor. We all know that this kind of competency, it is not only applicable for the art teacher, but also to the entire teacher community. So it is advantage to have this kind of knowledge about these stage decorations, where you, an art teacher or a teacher, can apply the philosophies on how you able to design or decorate the stage. And through this, with the exposure of stage decoration to both indoor and outdoor, you can be recognized about your skills, the creativity you have, and the expertise you have in this stage decoration. So we are bound to the second to the last competency, which is an art teacher should encourage or challenge children who are gifted and interested to participate in art contests. So contests and competitions are also one of the platforms in which students can display their creative and artistic abilities, to which often a portal to have a life-changing effect. So as an art teachers, you must motivate your students, encourage them to join series of competitions or contests, whether it is local, national, or international. It is very helpful because they can be competent, plus they able to gather some real-life experiences that is beneficial to them. So through this, they are motivated to develop their creative, social, and communication skills, since they meet new people by joining some series of competitions and contests. And the last competency is that an art teacher should possess the fundamental knowledge and skills needed in education or in art education. So just like what I've said earlier, that the teacher must have this specific knowledge about the current concepts, the philosophies, the practices, and the skills when teaching art. Since you cannot teach your students about a certain concept without having yours or without having some real life experiences that you can share to your students. So you must be loaded with the information, so in that way your students will learn more about the importance of each concepts you are teaching to them. So to summarize all the competencies I've mentioned earlier, it is important to have this kind of skills, abilities, or the knowledge to ensure that you, whether a future art educator or an art teacher that wants to improve more in order to succeed in maximizing your student learning and artistic abilities. You must have to learn all of these kind of competencies in order for you to have equality learning in arts education. This will surely give a positive effect to the both of the development in the academic and the skills of your students. So I hope that art teachers and art enthusiasts, this video is helpful in order for you to be one of those incredibly effective and a great art teacher. So, see you on my next video. Goodbye, everyone.